The tools that I like using within the HubSpot platform, so the ABM tools within like kind of the beta that within the tools, great, and I think they're gonna like add a lot to the process, definitely. But the ones that like we see a lot of traction with when we're running these campaigns are things like the workflows tools, the workflow tools, because we can start to trigger events when we need to, so determined by different engagements, different actions, those kind of things. Lead scoring is a big part of it as well. So we can start to lead score based on intent. So like where are people within different like lead stages and things like that. But then it's like the basic sales tools. So like the sequences, the tracking, all of those kind of the meeting links, all of that stuff starts to roll into it. And it coming back to your point on alignment, I think that's the stuff that really starts to show some credibility to the salespeople about marketing, because we can say, hey, look, we've already started to create the sequences. Go in, make them you. So like we want your tone of voice, how you would approach, but we've already brought in the pieces of content that you should be sharing at this time. Here's the sequence, you can trigger it off, fire and forget it, and like it will come back to you and say, okay, now pick up the phone, now engage with them on LinkedIn, now do all these things. And I think mapping it out for the salespeople are very, very capable. I'm not saying they're not able to do this stuff on their own, but the nice thing about sequences is that we can start to stitch that stuff back in, align it with some of those, like the dossiers and the target accounts that they've got, and use that as a way that they don't have to do any extra thinking outside of their current role. I think one of the most powerful aspects for like HubSpot across the board is the fact that it is that all-in-one solution. So you have the marketing, sales, and services piece all rolled in together. And I think when you're starting to look at ABM campaigns, because we're trying to convince more people within an organization, we're targeting on a focal point, but then we also need to kind of nurture the people around them. It is incredibly powerful to have more information. Like if you are previously engaged with somebody, like how does that change the marketing that we're going to be throwing out to them? But also, quite often we have ABM campaigns where one of our clients is working with a section of a business and they want to move into another section. So they will start to kind of like softly ABM approach some of the other people within that organization. And if you're doing things like that, you need to be aware from a service perspective that you haven't ruin the client and something. So you want to know what those existing relationships are. And I think having it all in one platform helps give you more insight, more knowledge, more understanding of who the people you're trying to reach. And also, like, the great thing about ABM is you are creating relationships with those people. Like, you are building up something over time. And as a salesperson, you also want to be able to see how is your, like, after you've signed them as a client, like how they're being delivered against, like what's happening after that point. And then that can start to feed back into, like, if you're going to upsell them, if you're going to kind of renew them, all those kind of things start to come back into play.